Nice, easy number coming up for us in here in NVIDIA. That is going to be the magic number of 200. That is what it's all going to be about by the end of this week, perhaps even by tomorrow. We're about $1 off of it right now. $11 move from last Friday's close. There's a big green day overall in NVIDIA, big green day in the overall markets. Now, if we take out these two last weeks here, so the previous 2 weeks, take out these as outlier moves, you can see that ever since last year, we've been trading in this channel, right? So if we do take that and see that respected trend line all the way through into today, you can see that the $200 matches up nicely with that. So that is why it all comes down to that $200 level in here for the end of the week. If we can get above it and hold, then we're looking up here back at those all-time highs at 212s. Then we're looking at nice whole numbers, working our way up to 215, 220, 225, etc. into our earnings, which is going to come next week, November 19th, after hours. Now, anything on the downside, what are we looking at? Well, 195, you have a nice little setup in here. That's kind of where we opened today. 195, anything below there is going to be that 9-day EMA trading at 188. And then you're going to be looking at the 183 and then the 180 levels for your next supports in here. Your RSI is overbought or getting close to overbought. We're about 4 points off of it right now, trading at 66. So 70 is going to be overbought. But we do have an earnings catalyst coming up next week. So we're not really too worried about RSI right now. We're more focused on volume numbers, and we're trying to watch and see how these options are trading and figure out if there's going to be any divergence or if there's going to be a nice expansion or contraction in the overall VIX or the options chain for Nvidia. Now, speaking of the options chain volatility, IV rank is sitting at 27 right now. So relatively cheap compared to itself over the past year, but we are going into earnings. So that's why we're closer to 30 with that IV rank. But you have right around a $7 expected move priced in by this Friday. Next Friday, everybody's pricing in right around a $16 expected move in here in Nvidia. So that's not as big as you would think. But of course, a lot can change between now and the end of the week and going into next week. So $16 currently is what everybody's pricing in. And just for those who are wondering, Palantir had a $25, $22 expected move priced in by their earnings. And that was like the day before earnings is what everybody's pricing in. I think it went down to 22. It wasn't 25. So that is kind of the difference in the overall volatility with these two stocks. And that's kind of how we should look at things as far as when your IV rank says 27, you go, oh my gosh, it's Nvidia. It's a $200 stock. It's going to move a lot of volatility. So the options are going to be expensive. Well, relative to itself, it won't because, you can just kind of compare it to Palantir where their IV rank was in the 60s and you got a $25 expected move. We only have a $16 expected move priced in off of an IV of 27. So that's kind of an easy way to gauge things and to figure out how much we're getting ripped off. But still, there is overall volatility in here in your options chain just because you do have that earnings catalyst coming up. So again, $200, that is what we're looking at. Our reasoning behind that, just because it's a nice psychological level in here. We had problems in the past, and because if we see our trend line through and we take out these two outlier weeks that we just had, then that is where everything matches right up. So that is why we're all about that $200 level going into the end of the week in here in NVIDIA. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.